Welcome students. Today I am going to submit you a video on Africa. Recently when I was conducting online classes for our children, some of them were kept their voice of not having finished Africa content lesson from state syllabus. So at that time I was explaining online classes of 7th class 7th lesson, handlooms and handicrafts. Okay, at that time some students have kept their objection of that the lesson of Africa has not been completed. So I am doing this video for those children. Please go through this video so that you will have a lot of idea and understanding, a lot of knowledge you will gain after watching this video. Please go through this video. Okay, and so Africa, of course, we know it is the largest continent on the earth's surface, that it has 54 countries and vast area, 3 crores 1 lakh 31,563 square kilometers its area. Okay, and it has highest temperature, lowest temperature, highest point and lowest points. Okay, so before we learn them, we must go through the details of boundaries. What are the boundaries of Africa on the earth's surface? Okay, let us see.
The conch-shaped continent on the Earth's surface is none but Africa, the second world largest continent on the Earth. It has its own boundaries. To the north, it has the Mediterranean Sea, northeast Red Sea, southeast Indian Ocean, Southern Ocean. From west top to bottom it has Atlantic Ocean, up to down. Okay, so these are some of the important boundaries for Africa. It has neighboring countries like Europe and Asia. We can enter into India from Africa to this way. We can enter into India through land. Okay, we have sea route also. After entering into Indian Ocean, we can enter into India. People can travel into Red Sea and get into Indian Ocean and reach India. Okay, it has geographical phenomena where other countries, other continents do not have this type of geographical phenomena is none but it has 3 lines, imaginary lines passing through it. The 3 imaginary lines on the earth: equator, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, pass through this continent. The equator makes this Africa continent into 2 halves. North part of Africa is a vast plateau. Southern part of Africa is a narrow plain.
The brainstorming points regarding Africa are written on the board. The first brainstorming point: dark continent. Africa is known as dark continent. Africa remained for a long period unexplored. The reason for Europeans not reaching this continent was the largest desert, Sahara Desert, was the natural barrier for Europeans to venture into this continent. so it remained for a long time unexplored. So it is known as dark continent. The second point, equator, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn. These three imaginary lines pass through this continent. Amazing, a geographical phenomena. Equator passing through in the center of Africa, it leaves Africa north part as a vast plateau and south part as a narrow plain. And of course, it has deepest gold mines, Ghana, okay, the famous country in Africa that has gold mines. Okay, the sixth brainstorming point of Africa is nothing but cradle of humankind. So it was believed to have been that ancestor of modern man, Homo sapiens, were found here. Okay, so it is known as cradle of humankind. So next one, famous pyramid of Giza. Africa was famously known as, okay, natural marvelous engineering skills for its construction of pyramids. Okay, so Giza was believed to have been constructed in 4,306 years ago. Slave trade, it is another important feature of Africa. Slaves were sold in the market and bought in the market. Black people were put on the market and were sold out. Black people who were taken by other countries as slaves were used for home purposes and plantation and industries. Okay, the ninth one, largest desert in the world that is located here in Africa is none but Sahara Desert. The geographical wonderful phenomena is that it rains but evaporates in the middle of the air. No raindrops reach the ground. There is another important feature for Africa is nothing but green forests, evergreen forests that are famously abundantly covered with canopies, which allow sun rays not into the ground. No sun rays fall on the surface of the ground here in green forests, evergreen forests located in Africa. It's a fantastic feature. The 11th one, the freshwater lake, the largest freshwater lake in the world is nothing but Lake Victoria. And of course, the last one, longest river in the world is Nile. Okay, with all these features, Africa has become a brainstorming place ever in the world. The zone between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn experience a hot climate. There is hardly any winter here. The region to the south of Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn is a temperate zone. This region experience winter and summer. The regions on both sides of the equator receives heavy rainfall. Temperate regions receive moderate rainfall. Almost half of the northern part of Africa and southwest part of Africa is an arid zone, that is no rainfall for several years. Okay, so that is how Africa gets high rainfall and medium rainfall, low rainfall at different places above the equator, below the equator. Okay, so this information will make you clear understanding about the climate of Africa.
You can see
Africa
clearly
is
there
a
in the
place
picture.
where a heinous practice of slave trade was first started. The Europeans, like the Dutch, the French, the German, the English, gained their foothold in the interior parts of Africa, and slowly they colonized several parts of Africa. Okay, they entered Egypt through Red Sea and entered into north coast of Africa through Mediterranean Sea. They had a lot of conflict with African tribal leaders. They fought with them, and at last they were very much succeeded of controlling them, and they encouraged them for the slave trade. Because 16th century Europeans were trying to migrate to America, where they could find a vast area. They need some people to work on the fields, so they encouraged African tribal leaders, as Africans as slaves. So they captured some of the Africans from the coastal regions of Guinea, as well as northeastern part of Africa, and they were taken to America. And these African people, black people, were forced to work on the fields, in the houses and in factories. So this was really inhuman and heinous. Okay, later the slave trade was completely abolished in America. Okay, the people who were mostly benefited by this heinous practice of slave trade were African tribal leaders. African tribal leaders accepted guns, iron objects, clothes, and liquor for the exchange of Africans. Okay, the slave trade came to an end in the 19th century. African black people were declared free citizen in 1860. Europeans exported African timber, gold, copper, diamonds to their motherlands. Europeans promoted agricultural goods for trade purposes. The agricultural goods that were grown by Europeans in Africa were tea, coffee, cocoa, tin, cotton, cassava, groundnut, and crude oil, coal, etc. These were grown by Europeans in different regions, like equatorial region as well as savanna regions. The slave trade came to an end in the 19th century. African black people were declared free citizen in 1860. Europeans exported African timber, gold, copper, diamonds to their motherlands. Europeans promoted agricultural goods for trade purposes. The agricultural goods that were grown by Europeans in Africa were tea, coffee, cocoa, tin, cotton, cassava, groundnut, and crude oil, coal, etc. These were grown by Europeans in different regions, like equatorial region as well as savanna regions. As everyone has right to enjoy over their national resources, why should Africans be deprived of their rights? Africans have this had been reflected during the past few centuries, that Africa had gained control over the European powers. Though Europeans are still settled in African countries, African people acquiring their control over their land, mines, forests, and agriculture production, and benefiting from them. Okay, that is the end of the lesson Africa. Children, please watch it and learn it very well. Thank you for watching my video.